Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of RuinCast, the Heroes of Ruin podcast. I'm Kevin Eva and joining me at the moment is George Wright, the producer. Say hello, George.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning,
or
yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good, well, wherever you are. It's the time. We're kind of a bit lost on time at the moment. We've all been frightfully busy, and in fact this particular RuinCast is actually going to be across 4 parts.
Just to keep things simple.
Just to keep things really simple. It's been very difficult for us all to get in the same room, actually, because we've all been busy doing other things. So we've got George at the beginning here, the most important person at the front, obviously, being the producer.
But you or me? Oh.
Oh, no, there's definitely you. And then we're going to have a guest in, which is apparently the emergency services, if you can hear that. They've come to arrest Luke.
Yes. That's why he's not here right now.
That's why he's not here. No, we will have Luke later on. We'll be talking a bit more about some of the more creative aspects within the game. We're going to talk about George for the technical and Luke for the creative. But in the middle of that, we've actually got 3 guests. As you may be aware, we had, around the time of PAX, we had a special press day where we got various people in. In fact, you might have seen the Blistered Thumbs video with George.
Looking very tired.
But we actually got those guys, Yusuf and Gordon, to give us a bit more insight into their own personal thoughts regarding the game, because they were the ones who actually went to the Nintendo event that was around the time, or just after, I should say, E3. So they've seen an earlier version build and then a later version build. So they've got quite a good insight into how things have progressed. So that's very interesting. In fact, you might find what they say very interesting indeed. We've also got a newbie's perspective, somebody who hadn't seen the game prior to the event, Sven from SPONG. So we've got 2 separate interviews with them. But we'll crack straight on with George and his questions. So,
what's the first one?
The first one, well, there's been lots of chatter about various things. Let's start off with something we get asked a lot, actually, with regard to the balance between N-Space and Square Enix, and who's doing what. We keep having to say this, but Hound of God asked this from the forums, with how Heroes of Ruin came to be. So did SELS just give N-Space an idea and tell them to run with it, or did N-Space propose an idea? Whose idea was it for Heroes of Ruin? Where does the world of Ruin come from?
So it started off, we heard the 3DS was coming out. At Square Enix, we wanted to make a game that would be suited for the 3DS, and at the same time N-Space came to us with an idea. So originally it is actually something that was conceived at N-Space at the beginning, but then through time, through us working together, we've sort of evolved that idea. So although it started with N-Space, I think it's kind of a joint effort at the end now. Obviously, if you're asking for the distinguishing, the differences between the two of us, it's N-Space are the developers, so they're the people with the artists and the programmers, engineers, designers, and they're actually creating the game, doing the nitty-gritty stuff. Whereas here we have, Luke, who does the sort of brand side of things, and an external designer, Al, who's been on RuinCast 1, and myself, who sort of oversees that and manages it to a certain extent, and also provides some creative feedback into the process, and making sure that we are trying to make the best game that we want to make.
We do get, I get asked a lot on the forums as well, who's doing what, and we often, both of us, get referred to as N-Space, and
yes.
And to make it perfectly clear, I'm Square Enix, George is Square Enix, Luke is Square Enix. If you see the mods on the Heroes of Ruin site, they are Square Enix, so the site's Square Enix run. So all of that is Square Enix. We're not N-Space.
Yes.
We're in London.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I hope that clarifies that for you. Hannah, good. Okay. Now, speaking of packs, we did have some a lot of details regarding some of the technical aspects, and Crash's question actually ties into that. How long will story mode take to finish, and what incentives to keep playing are there after players complete the story mode?
So, I mean, it's a difficult one to quantify how long it's going to take to do story mode, because there's so much additional, side quests to do in the game and exploration to do in the game, which you're rewarded for too. I would say, and if you did some of the side quests and you went through the story quest pretty quickly, you'd get maybe around 15 hours just to get through from start to end pretty quickly.
So that's only if you're doing like just a few of the side quests here and there. So if you did none of the side quests at all, you'd probably do it a little bit quicker.
Yeah, you'd be able to do it quicker than that. But obviously, that's not you playing the game. That's you just trying to finish it as soon as possible.
Yeah, there is a difference, guys, between you playing the game and exploring the game and just going raw finish. And of course, you'll miss out on rewards, as you mentioned.
Yes,
so.
And then also, to answer the question about what happens after the game is finished, you can play with your friends. You can help out some of your lower level allies by going into levels with them, helping them out. It'll be different to when you went through it, because there'll be different loot to pick up, and it'll be a different layout. And also, beyond that, if you when you finish the game, you still have your challenge system, which is going to be supported. So every day you'll be able to complete challenges, which will grant you access to new special items.
Plus, obviously, with the 4 character classes being very different, how you play the game with each character class is a different experience. So you can always start up a new character. In fact, we recommend that you do. So
yes, yeah, they're all great characters.
To check it out, because they've all got their own different backgrounds, and as you will see, I won't go into it any further. Okay. Obviously, since the last RuinCast, Nintendo had their Tokyo Game Show and the Nintendo event that was alongside it, where they revealed the extra circle pad. And we got straight in there with a question from Auto Kirby. Are you, or have you guys been designing this game for use with the extra circle pad peripheral for the 3DS?
The answer would be no, because we've been making the game for a while now, so that's brand new technology. It's not even out yet, so it's not something we could have planned to use, and we're pretty far into the production now to try and cater for that. Is quite a bit of extra work. The game's works really well without it.
So, and there's another part of this question from Auto Kirby, which is what do we personally think of it?
I'd have to try it myself, to be honest. I think in some games it'll be very good. If you're playing a first-person sort of game, I think it'll be very useful. But yeah, I'd have to try it before I really commented on it.
Try before you buy.
Yeah.
From
anyone
my
wants to send me one.
from my side, and this is purely a personal thing. I agree with George in that it's a case of we'll have to see how it goes. I can see how there'd be quite a lot of advantages for having the second circle pad. Could probably look a bit better, but yeah, it's a case of seeing. We've no idea when it will even hit the West, of course, because this is just for Monster Hunter 700 or whatever it is. 705 S, and we've no idea if that game's coming West or if the peripheral's coming West, because sometimes peripherals don't. So it'll have to we'll wait and see, but it's not in relation to Heroes of Ruin. Now, going back to something that we mentioned, I think in the last RuinCast, and that was the maximum level.
Yes.
Or it was either in the last RuinCast or it was in one of the PAX interviews regarding the maximum level. And that the maximum level for a character is 30.
Correct.
Some people were saying on the forums that there was concern that was too low. Now, we'd like to address that and just explain why that really isn't the case.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to say what's a too low level, too high level in these adventure type games. There's been some fantastic games out there which the cap is level 12, and it just takes you a long time to get to those levels, but it makes a big difference, and it's very rewarding. It's still fun. Then you get other games which are going up, into 60s, 70s, 80s, and it's the same thing. It's also just how the games are different. I wouldn't say one game is better than the other because it has a different, max level cap. But saying that, I think 30 is actually quite a good number.
Yeah, I mean, some people were saying that it seemed, and they said about this with the playtime that we talked about before, that it was low for an RPG. We have to emphasise again, guys, this is not an RPG. There's RPG tendencies, there's characteristics in there of an RPG.
Yeah.
But it is not a straight out flat role playing game.
Yes. It's just more it's more adventure-y. It's a mix of all of those three.
It's an action adventure with RPG qualities. That's what I've been saying anyway. So I'm going to stick with it. So I mean, ultimately, it's 30 is designed for a full gameplay and getting the full emphasis out of the game. If we could put that number to 50 or 60 or 70 within the same amount of time, and it wouldn't exactly change the game playing experience, would it? So you'd just be...
I don't know, it would maybe be...
Because you'd just be leveling it. You'd be leveling up. You'd just leveling up all the time really quickly. So, changing the number and how quickly you level up, but having the same experience wouldn't exactly make the gameplay experience any better.
Yes.
So, okay. Right. Have another question from Crash. It's another technical one. You like technical ones?
Crash likes technical questions.
Crash likes technical questions. All right. I would like to know how many items can each save file hold, and will there be a bank? Will there be a bank, and we'll be able to share items between save files? A couple of people have asked us actually, whether or not we can. So if you find a really hyper-powered Vindicator sword, but you're playing the Savage, say,
yes.
Are you able to then store that and go into your Vindicator save and grab the sword?
No, there will be completely separate games and separate save files, so you can't go into the city somewhere and find a chest or a bank to drop a weapon. It will be there for another save game. So no, that's not supported. Yep.
Sorry, I'm going to say as a question, with obviously trading, would you be able to trade that to say a friend?
Yes.
And then they could trade it back to you.
Yeah, that's definitely an option.
So there is perhaps a way around that for you, but
you could get into a multiplayer session with a friend, or someone who's not a friend, but then you're not guaranteed to get it back. I guess even if it's your friend,
risk reward.
Yeah, you're not going to be guaranteed to get it back.
Big emphasis on risk.
So yeah, you could play a multiplayer game, meet up with somebody, trade the item, and then quit out your game, start up with your other character, join into his session again, and you could get your the weapon that you want. Hopefully at a good price.
Hopefully a good price. Because they could hold you to ransom, of course, and
well, I would
want some more.
The other question was
what amount of items in each save file. So like how big is how big is the inventory? I think is what
it's. That's still not entirely defined. It's not small. It's not something that you're going to have to continually like manage going in and out and pick them up.
So it's not going to be something like 20 slots or something like that.
No. It'll be definitely bigger than that, but the actual number is yet to be defined. Unfortunately, there is a limit because it's based on the cartridge size of the game.
Although you'll probably be also looting a lot of things anyway, a lot of lower items, so that will help manage your...
Yeah, I mean, it's very... You're not going to want to pick up everything, and the game is built so it's very easy to sell stuff off the floor. If you're standing over it, you can get your quick inventory stat view, and you don't need to go into any menus. You can just sell it straight away. So not too much management required.
Menardi Cast says, I would like to know about how the story is told. Will there be several towns in which there are quest givers, or is it more like one very long chain quest?
Most of the story is told either in the levels or in the city of Nexus, but the city of Nexus has different districts to it, so you'll venture around and pick up the quest from different people, and at the same time you can pick up your side quests, and then as you sort of turn in a quest, you will be exposed to more of the story. Obviously, when you defeat or complete specific levels, you'll get additional information or big hits of information.
Okay. Earthart asks, does the ruin part of Heroes of Ruin come from the status of the city, from the language, or is it the world, or is it some other aspect?
It's more to do with the characters themselves. They're not your normal heroes. They're more anti-heroes. The reasons why they've come to the city of Nexus in the World of Vale is to... it's not necessarily very honourable. They're doing it for their own reasons.
I've hinted at this as well in interviews and things. They're not 100% on the level, really, all of them. So it's perhaps them.
There's a little bit of selfishness in all of them.
Even the characters that are from an honourable background, their reasons are in no way for the greater good of the land. It's for their own redemption or otherwise.
Yep.
As for the name of the world that Earthart mentioned, we can actually clarify that.
Yes, I mentioned earlier. It's the world of Vale. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, you did mention it earlier. No one picked it up. Bizarre. No one picked it up. But yes, so the world is Vale,
and it's quite a big world, and you'll
find out more.
You'll find out more about it.
As the veil is lifted on Vale, you'll find out more about it. That sounds like a blog series that I look forward to writing immensely. No, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in there actually that we can reveal in time. But Vale is the name.
It'd be nice to know what people think of it, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite a nice name, actually.
I like it. Sort of rolls off the tongue.
I can't remember any other Vales or similar towns in games, so that, of course, somebody will now turn up and say, there was this game in Zelda 2. There was this small hamlet on the east side that was called Veal or something. Right, we've got another technical question. And lo and behold, it's from Crash. I swear, it's great. We appreciate the fact that those of you who will have very specific details you want answered. We've no problem answering them. Crash wants to talk about the skill tree. Now, actually, a few people have actually asked about the skill tree, but we've not been in a position to say it yet. But we are now. How many skills will be in each skill tree? What kinds of skills will there be? Will it have superficial stuff such as HP or MP up? will the skills be more strategy orientated, such as special moves with a wider range, used more often? And can we get a peek at one of these skill trees? Well, I'll answer the last bit and later on. But so the skill tree.
So each character has their own unique skills, and in total there are 15 per character, and they're broken into skill branches. So there's 5 branches per skill tree. For example, the Vindicator, the first one is called the Sentinel branch, and that will have more sort of defensive-based skills. Talking about, does it increase your HP or anything like that? No, they are, as I say, their skills, their abilities, and they're defined in 3 ways. They're either a passive, so something that's always going to be on, or a buff, so something you trigger and it will last for a period of time, and the last one is just like an active one. You press the button and it's a big attack or a big defensive thing. And they vary quite differently between the different branches, and obviously between the characters. And also to add to that, you have a certain level of a skill, so you can get your skill to, you can purchase a skill, but then you can actually level up in a skill to make it more powerful. So yeah, I guess that answers that one. It's always good to have like some passives on all the time, investing in that, and then a nice buff. I could tell you my favourites, but they're not gonna mean much if you don't have the game.
Well, that's we'll say that for down the line, and where we can go into things a bit more. As for can we get a peek at one of these skill trees? I would imagine we'll do a specific feature in time, if not a video.
Yep.
On.
So not right now.
Not right now.
You will do.
There is a new video coming, incidentally. I've sort of hinted at this in the forums, but there is a new trailer coming, which will have N-Space on it, and they'll be walking you through various parts of the game. So look forward to that. But I, as I'm sure you guys know, have a nice little folder. We've got lots of various concept art bits. There is something relating to the skill tree in there. So down the line, there will be a concept art piece regarding the skill tree specifically. And I think that is all the questions we have for George.
Really?
Yeah. Well, this is anything you want to specifically talk about, as you've got open forum at the moment?
I don't know. I get scared. I get shy.
You get scared. That's no problem.
But yeah, thank you for inviting me for another RuinCast.
No problem. Always a pleasure. We will be back after this first piece with Sven from SPONG, with Luke, and we'll be revealing more, and I will be talking afterwards about the Wall of Champions and what we're going to do with it. So
very exciting.
It is actually. It is. It's a lot more going on than you think. So here's Sven from SPONG and his experiences as a first-time player of Heroes of Ruin at the PAX event. I'm here behind the scenes at the demo room at Square Enix Europe, and joining me from SPONG is my old friend Sven Jocelyn, who's just been playing Heroes of Ruin, the PAX build. Hi, Sven.
Hello, Kevin. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, thank you. So, how did you enjoy the Heroes of Ruin then?
Heroes of Ruin is looking really good, actually. Yeah. Not that I was surprised or anything, but yeah, it's looking really good. It's very action-packed, and yeah, I'm liking it. It's a nice fantasy setting as well, and I'm loving the art style as well. And it's got badass sharks with
the Tybers
with feet and everything. So
the Tybers,
yeah, it's good. But it's just easy to get into, and you can connect with anyone really who's right next to you or online. So I'm liking it. It's good.
That's great. Anything sort of stand out and made you want to look into more in depth at all?
Yeah, I definitely like the look of the world. Actually, the actual what's the world called?
The world itself, we hesitate to use Ruin because although Heroes of Ruin would insinuate that Ruin was the world, but it's not necessarily the name of the world is Ruin.
Okay.
Well, either way, what a poor name that is. But the actual, I mean, you've got the base city's the city of Nexus.
Right.
The level you played was you were the Coral Tombs earlier, and that actually on several different levels and it's very different either way. But
yeah, it's beyond many action/multiplayer RPG action games that I've played in the past. So battling on a pirate ship that's quite untoward in a coral cave is quite nice, and the art design is something that's quite striking as well. And I quite like the imaginative enemies that you face as well. So. And
I do recall you did have to run away in terror at one point. Your character from Captain Skullrot.
Captain Skullrot was quite a nice chap, wasn't he?
He was very pleasant. He offered you for a cup of tea and a slice of your skull.
Offered me tea and unfortunately not something to eat, but instead he made me run away in terror using a weird spell that he has, which wasn't very nice. I think the idea of that was to disperse all your men away so that you whittle a 4-man party down to 3, 2, 1, and then all of a sudden you're knackered. So, it got me several times, and it wasn't pleasant. But I nobbled him, so don't worry about that.
He won't forget you in a hurry.
Yeah, he won't,
because he's dead.
He'll never forget.
Well, he's dead anyway. He's a
He'll never remember or forget again.
He'll never forget. No, because his skull's just rotten. So it's...
Exactly. Well, I think the clue's in the name, really. Captain Skullrot.
We're clever like that.
Yeah, very nice names.
Anyway. You can read Sven's preview and what he actually thought, as opposed to what he was telling me.
It'll be more coherent than what I'm actually saying right now, because my brain's frazzled at the moment. But I do like the game.
His brain's gone OTT on Heroes of Ruin. This is good. He's able to rend video game journalist brains to mush by its awesomeness.
Like a spell from Captain Skullrot, my brain is mush.
Captain Skullrot. He's our hero.
Yeah.
If you're dead and a pirate,
he'll bring your party down to 0. You should use that.
Gonna rend your spleen asunder.
Watch out for treasures that you'll loot and plunder.
Yeah. Anyway, we will stop this, but go on SPONG. SPONG.com?
Yeah, why not? www.spong.com for all my witterings. And also for Heroes of Ruin.
And at Sven_Spong for all your twitterings.
Yes, I like it. Thank you. Yeah.
Free plug.
Thanks, I like that.
There we go.
And there's also the @spong.com Twitter feed as well, so check it out.
Anyway, Sven, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure, Kevin.
And
my pleasure.
Look forward to seeing you very soon.
Yeah, and looking forward to seeing more of Heroes of Ruin, so thanks for inviting me.
Hi guys, it's Kevin again, back, and I'm with the guys from Blistered Thumbs this time. We've got Yusuf.
Hiya.
And we've got Gordon, the man you never see because he's always behind the camera.
Yes.
But he has a voice at last. It's here.
I do indeed.
Indeed. But
when he's allowed to speak.
When he's allowed to speak.
Yes, mister.
Has he got a note?
Has he got
He's got a note from his mum.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. And from my psychologist.
I see. So, as a psychologist, naturally they're both completely suitable for talking about Heroes of Ruin.
Of course.
So, both you guys have actually played Heroes. Tell me what your opinions of it, because obviously Yusuf, you played the more recent build today.
Yeah, what I played today was a completely different thing to what we saw earlier. The game's obviously been updated some more since we last saw it, but I was impressed last time. So this time I even sent out a Twitter note earlier in the week saying this might be the game that the 3DS actually needs, because I don't think there's quite the quality on the 3DS it needs right now. And this game really looked like a lot of fun. It was when Gordon played it the first time, I was hungrily looking over the shoulder trying to get some gameplay in, because I like hack and slash top down sort of games, and I love the fact they've streamlined everything onto simple control methods, and so the game doesn't become bogged down with inventory systems. It's all about getting in, playing the game, and easily playing the game with multiple people. I really like the title, and from what I've heard, the best is yet to come. So
that's great. Gordon?
Well, when I played Heroes of Ruin at the post-E3 conference, it was sort of a return to the first game I ever played, which I played properly, end to end, constantly. It was the first Diablo game. I'm sure everyone else you've spoken to has made the comparison. But what you've done with the new version, as Yusuf said, you've streamed it down. It still has the complexity of playing a console game, but with some of the simplicities you get from a mobile phone game, which is, of course, at the moment all the rage. Everyone's playing the games on their iPhones, their HTCs and so on. And you've managed to sort of speed up the process of playing the game, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I know the dev team and the SELS guys, we're all very concerned that it doesn't get bogged down in, go through my inventory and sort all this out, and be fluid. Fluid is the word we're using a lot. So that's great. Honestly, Yusuf, you actually played the multiplayer aspect of it today, which you didn't play last time. You were playing with Rory, one of our guys from PR. So, how did that change for you?
It showed me that I'm better at Rory than the game because he died. But
he did die. He did die, which is unfortunate.
Well, he's played the game multiple times.
He's played time, but that was he didn't know where he was going because of the regenerating.
I'm sure he had tired fingers because he's been playing all day.
He has been playing all day.
Anyway, the multiplayer, it's if it works like they're saying it well, and obviously they're not going to lie to us, it's going to be really, really good, the whole drop in, drop out. But actually playing the game to play, you kind of got more to do, especially as a gunslinger, because instead of suddenly running into a fight and then getting jumped by everybody and having to roll out and shoot, you can actually have that Vindicator get in there, attack the enemies, and you can work from the back, and then if he needs to back off, you've got your sweeping attack that kind of clears the path for him to get away and heal himself up. It sort of changes the dynamic of the game, and actually it somehow manages to switch from being a very good single-player game to being a multiplayer game without just feeling like tacked on. It feels like it should have been there in the first place, and yet changes the way you play the game completely.
You mentioned the whole sort of help aspect. That's one of the things that obviously be encouraging with the use of the microphone and real-time chat. It's obviously, crap, I'm in trouble, help.
Okay.
So that sort of strategy element and controlling your party is going to be quite a big part as well of the experience. But anything else that stood out for either of you?
When I first played it, I couldn't hear the audio because we were in a large room and it was very noisy.
That big old factory.
I heard the audio properly for the first time. It sounded really, really good. Really like the sounds that were coming from it.
Well, the best is yet to come. We'll be revealing some of the music and audio soon, I hope. The stars align, etc., etc. So, anything from you? Just sort of made you go, huh? Or?
I'm not sure. Actually, it was one of the things I would like to mention is that the 3D effect actually worked really well. I've played a lot of these 3D games, and they kind of make you feel like they're disorientated sometimes. But I actually mentioned this while playing it, and I found that quite weird because we were in the middle of a fight, so I just kind of stopped where I was and went, that lighting looks really good. And it was because the stream was 3D and the dust particles in between it. And that felt like the kind of effect you put on a console game, not on a handheld.
It's funny you should say that you literally stopped, and I remember seeing it. You weren't the only person who did that today.
Yeah.
In fact, about 3 or 4 people have literally just went, oh, that's... And they forgot what they were doing. And then they proceeded to get a tiber biting them on the backside.
I lived, though.
You lived, yeah. You survived. That proves that you are superior.
Yes. You heard it, Internet.
Blistered Thumbs victory there over all comers.
Yes.
All of them, everywhere.
Yeah, we're sitting shoulders straight and back, head tall at this point. You just can't see it.
Yes, of course.
Not slouched on the sofa.
No. Game is back.
Game is back. Anyway, well, thanks for coming down, guys. If you want to check out either the first video, which actually you probably already have done, because we've linked it on the forums and on the blogs, on the Facebook and everywhere. But is it blisteredthumbs.net?
Yes.
Isn't it? Check it out. and obviously there'll be a new video preview which you may well have seen already before this audio goes out. But see it again; it's well worthwhile. It's actually a really nice interview.
You're saying we're talking from the future?
Well, I wouldn't want to say. Didn't you not feel that buzzing sensation on your skin as you went through the door?
Ah, that's what it was.
Ah, I see. It's, we operate exactly 7 seconds out of sync with the actual present.
Ah, that's how Square Enix get these games out.
It's an interesting thing. Yeah, it's. Some people say it causes severe headaches and things, and chronic paranoia. But I've yet to see any.
Those are only the people watching.
I've yet to see any sign of it yet, at least in myself. So
yeah.
It's good. Anyway, thank you for coming down, gentlemen.
No worries.
Thanks for having us.
And we're back. We may sound like we're in a slightly different location. That's because we are. We're actually in one of the recording rooms. I think the first RuinCast was recorded in.
I have a feeling it was as well, because Mike made a lot of silly noises.
Mike made lots of silly noises.
Yeah, this whole
that
room,
sounds like Mike.
This whole room is soundproofed, so
yeah.
No one could do it. No one could hear.
Yeah. Well, no one could hear up until the point that they realised that the soundproofing wasn't entirely soundproofing. Anyway, I'm here for part 4 of our RuinCast multi-person spectacular. And as you can hear, I've got Luke with me.
Hello.
We've got a few questions still to answer, and then we go into vast amount of news time. So I know you guys have been looking forward to that, especially as I sort of teased it on the forum. First, though, I want to quickly go back to a question that Auto Kirby asked us earlier, which was regarding the circle pad peripheral. Now, he's asked us, I'm assuming Auto Kirby's a he, I think so, what myself and George think, but we were just wondering what your personal opinion is of the circle pad peripheral. Do you see it as a good thing? Do you see it as an ugly piece of plastic? I mean, what's your opinion there?
It's difficult to say without fear of reprisal, I think. But yeah, so
Nintendo going to sneak up on you in the night.
I'll be careful. I mean, to me, I actually really like it. I like the idea of it. I ever since I had other handheld devices, I've always thought that they pretty much all handhelds should have two analog sticks, or two sets of directional controls. I just think it helps. So I was kind of surprised when it only had the one circle pad, to be honest. But I think it's a good thing. I think I'd very much like to see it on the machine, if I'm honest. I think a lot of people would, and I think there's room for it. And I think that kind of thing could, come in a future iteration. That's not to say I know anything that you guys don't know, but
remember, guys, we didn't even know it was coming, so the chances of us knowing about anything else is very low.
Yeah, I mean, it suits. I think that the thing is, in my opinion, it suits shooters. I'm not really a shooter fan, so I don't really think of it as helpful in that sense. But I do like action games and action adventure games, and I guess I'm used to having another stick that ends up controlling things like camera.
Well, you make a good point, because it's a 3D space.
Yeah.
So it's natural that you need to go both forward and backwards, and you need to go along all three axes.
I mean, there's definite uses for it. I don't think it's essential, and I find it really odd when I see comments like, "Oh, this means the 3DS can compete with the Vita," or I find comments like that really strange, because I don't judge a machine on like kind of how many buttons it's got. I mean, it just reminds me of old systems controllers with tons and tons of buttons, and they would it didn't do them any favours. So I don't necessarily think that a handheld should be judged by how many circle pads it has, or how thick the whole thing is to hold when it's attached. But I mean, I find it interesting. So I think it's pretty cool that they've brought it out, and that games are starting to take use of it. But it's interesting to see what happens, and whether it will become, whether all games will adopt it, or whether it will become an optional, a fully optional accessory so that most games have sort of a couple of control schemes. I don't know, but I quite like it myself. It looks a bit bulky, but
I suspect what we might see is that not. I say all games that are probably coming out from the latter part of 2012 will have at least from that point on will have an alternate control scheme there just in case.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. At the end of the day, it depends on how well it sells. If no one buys it, then no games are going to support it. So, I always like the term "vote with your dollar." You know, if you like it, grab it. If you don't worry about it. That's my view on it. I'll get it, but just because I like things like that.
You're a massive Nintendo fan as well, aren't you?
I'm infamous for it. So, I'll probably get it, but never open it from its original packaging. So there, yeah.
As a side note, and this is not in the questions at all, but I'm just slightly curious. What do you think about the new Wii, the new slimline Wii? Because apparently Nintendo are going to do a vast array of bundles on it.
But is there a slimline Wii? I thought they just took it looked the same size to me.
It's slimlined. They've taken the backward compatibility out. They've taken the Wi-Fi out.
But what I mean is, it didn't look any smaller. It just looked like the same thing without the panel.
But no, apparently it's slightly dinkier, more slimline.
Well, if it's cheap enough and small enough, I might grab it. I've already got 2 Wiis, so I don't know if I need another one. But yeah, we'll see.
Okay, Heavenly Classic asks, are there geeky little funny-looking type comic relief enemies? And if so, do they have clowny funny music playing when you see them / proceed to fight them? He's dead. I don't know, maybe they're sort of thinking something like, I don't know, the Rappies from Phantasy Star with that sort of type of music. I don't know. Sure. Is there a sort of a slightly comic reliefy?
There are. Do you know?
Enemy?
There are definitely more amusing characters in the game and more brutal enemies in the game. But so far from obviously the game's not finished. But while I've been playing through it, I've not seen any anecdotal melodies accompanying them. But yeah, there are some funny little creatures in there, and I think that's a good touch, because if you're fighting against a whole bunch of enemies and you get the really powerful ones, but then you get the really weaker, sappier ones, you're like, well, they just turn into fodder, and you don't actually want to fight them at all. You get a bit annoying, they sort of swarm you down. So I like when they have a bit of a quirky edge, because and then they're not meant to pose a serious threat, but at least they have some other entertainment value that the bigger enemies don't. So. You can sing along, though, when you fight them if they don't have a special tune. If
they do have a special tune, feel free to make up your own lyrics to that.
There's another challenge.
There's another that's my challenge for the future, and Luke will enjoy any submission you have for that. Actually, that brings us neatly on to your challenge.
Oh, the challenge, yeah.
But if you remember the challenge from episode 2 to make your own trailer, somebody did. Somebody actually did. Super Ducky, I believe was the name.
Yeah, good old Ducky. Everyone has seen that trailer, by the way.
Everyone has seen the trailer. Everyone from SELS has, anyway. Yeah. Most of the subcontinent has.
Yeah, and it was interesting to gauge some of the responses.
We're thinking of scrapping the entire game and doing it in that graphical style.
Well, it works for some games.
It does.
Yeah.
Can't think of one at the moment. Top of my head.
I can.
You can.
Yeah. I played Toonstruck as a child, and the bosses were done in this. You had these 3 henchmen, and they were done in kind of sketch form. Okay, they had one had a mouth gun or thing, and one had glasses, and one had I can't remember I can't remember exactly, but ears. That was it, big ears. But they were all drawn in like a sketch form.
So are we saying that he may have actually?
He may have cheated twice.
Cheated twice. No, he's used the structure of the trailer. He may have copyright infringement on somebody else's design.
Do you know what I liked about? Do you know what I liked about that trailer is that It was made out to be very spontaneous. In that, I saw their note that said, "Oh God, why am I uploading this?" But
Yeah.
right now, it's one thing to grab the soundtrack and to grab the format. That's actually quite quick, and that didn't require much thought. And that that's fine. That's fine. It was never meant to be fully serious, of course. But what I'm now picturing is Super Ducky sitting down at a table, deliberately drawing characters, and thinking to himself, "Oh, this one's gone slightly wrong, but I'm going to have to run with that now and turn him into a strange feline jester."
It's the Vindicator.
Yeah.
Coming onto the slightly keyboard cat music was
Well, at some point, someone, I mean, assuming he doesn't live alone, someone must have seen that and said, "What are you doing?" And
he even had to have actually explained it, presumably to a member of family.
Yeah.
Who then, their entire idea of this person has now been irrevocably changed.
It's an interesting ferret. What's that for? Homework.
Yeah.
School project. Still.
Why are you drawing this woman with very low trousers?
I thought even though the effort was downplayed by Super Ducky, it showed a considerable.
We really did enjoy that.
Yeah, and we did think that was really cool.
Okay. I think we have the name of the month for Lego Leonidas.
Lego what? Lego Leonidas.
Lego Leonidas, sorry. I think that's our name. Well, we haven't got many other questions, so I think it is. It's congratulations, you win that title. Go bow down to Frog Lord.
I can imagine he'd have just a Lego block instead of a 6-pack. That's what Leonidas is famous for, I think. That and beards and shouting.
I like the concept of doing this is Denmark, and then
Denmark.
Isn't Denmark from? Lego, remember rightly?
Oh, I don't know. Can't
and they're kicking them down. Well, from a UK perspective, this is Windsor.
Could be. Well, that's Legoland, though, isn't it?
Yeah. There's Lego lands everywhere. Legoland is like Legoland the Alexandretta, Alexandria of its time.
I've never been to one, but I'm hoping to.
It was like 27 plus at one time. Vague historical note for you there that I'm sure no one's remotely interested in. I love the sense of humour here, both on the site and in the podcast. Hooray! That's good. We like praise.
I was being serious.
Yeah, well, that's just me. That's just me. I'm just like this all the time. Any chance of seeing in-jokes or humorous references in the game?
You bet. I actually know one that's in there. I'm not going to let any clues slip.
Well, you'll have to tell me later. So.
I can tell you that it's. I will tell you later, of course.
Yeah.
I can tell you it's a movie reference.
A movie reference.
An animated movie reference.
Mm-hmm.
Famous cult animated movie reference. And it's not that I'm not saying because of it may get sued or anything like that. It's nothing controversial, but I want to keep it a surprise. So maybe someone will see it, maybe they won't.
I've been playing a lot of Borderlands lately, and I can't get enough of the nerdy gags and quotes. It's kind of a tongue-in-cheek way of breaking the fourth wall, and I find it rather charming. So there are items, or at least one.
There are definitely, yeah. Definitely.
Something I'm going to talk about later. You'll very much appreciate the nerdy gags and quotes. But yes, you'll have to wait and see for the other thing.
Well, we're trying to do that a lot on the website as well.
Yeah.
You may have noticed that some of the XP challenges have sort of little meme-centric titles and names and whatnot. So yeah, we're a big fan of those as well.
Shems08 says, "Can someone make the RuinCast as YouTube videos?"
That's one for you.
In theory, we could.
I'm not sure what they would.
However, we'd need an account that had greater than 10 minutes on it.
But you can have things on there that are longer than 15 minutes. Even.
You can, but you need to have an account that's been around for a while and has proven hits and things, and then YouTube will up it. Or alternatively, you need to have a director's account, not director's account, a partnership with YouTube, which gets you all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, I might see if we can sort that out.
Yeah, well, you'll need some cash for that, Luke. You'll need some cash for that.
Google a shout. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll certainly look into it. If not, I mean, yeah, you can do it. You know, if it's how long is the average podcast? Is it 40 minutes? I think
40 minutes.
What we don't really want to do is a part 1, a part 2, a part 3. It just you end
if
up
we had
part
that
3 and
if we had that, I'd put it up.
Yeah.
No problem. I'd sort out something. You'd have a nice animated background with the Heroes of Ruin graphic, and you could listen to us all. Oh. Perhaps we'd even do a special video one. A vidcast podcast. Yeah. We could do one, except that George would be very nervous about doing it.
Well, George is very he's a very presentable gentleman, but he sometimes gets a bit self-conscious about the way he appears in certain interviews, and
well, don't we all?
Yeah, but George, I'm not brave enough to go on camera. So
what you actually get was a video of me sitting down with two people either side of me with bags on their heads or something. Mystery men.
That's a bit scary.
That is a bit scary. Can we implement a human walking around with a bag on his head in the game?
What I'd like to do is we could, but then it's a bit Resident Evil, isn't it? We'd what I think we could do, for example, is stick the podcast on YouTube and then just have, say we're talking about screenshots at the time, then we could show them something like that. But we'll certainly look into it.
That would be good.
Yeah, it's definitely something we want to do.
Yeah, so we will look into it. Is the answer there?
And that's not a polite way of saying no.
It's literally is a we will look into it. Auto Kirby asks again, are you or would you consider releasing a soundtrack of the game, either with the game itself or sometime after?
Heck yes.
That'll be nice. That, of course, is something we can discuss on the next show, which will be with Sasha Putnam, who is the composer for the Heroes of Ruin soundtrack. And we've got, composer. Yes, indeed, multi-award winning, multimedia, all sorts of things, television, radio.
That is awesome.
Movies.
I actually do think we're very lucky to have Sasha on the project. I think it's a big win, and listening to all the stuff that he's been recording and providing so far, I think
some beautiful stuff.
Yeah,
and with any luck, you'll actually be able to hear a piece of music from Heroes of Ruin on the next podcast, because we will be interviewing him. So please go on to the forum, and there is a thread already. It's been active for a while, but please get your questions in specifically for Sasha, because we'll do a big interviewee piece, and that's all him next time round. So look forward to that. But we'll see about talking about the soundtrack and what goes on. In fact, you probably go back a bit to a Heavenly Classics question regarding sort of comic relief music. We can ask if there's something in there that's slightly more light-hearted, shall we say. But there's already some really good questions about how is the music dynamic and all these other things. Is it based on location or enemies or just the general area itself?
Well, let Sasha answer those.
Well, let Sasha answer those, indeed. Right. Just a quick thing, as I'd mentioned the forums, there is a forum competition going on at the moment. If you are in the forum and you make a nice post, and this is in the RuinCast sub-forum or the main Heroes of Ruin sub-forum, I'll be looking there. Okay, if it's a really good post, you will win a poster. And it's the same type of poster that we were giving away on the Facebook competition a little while ago, a few weeks back. So keep those posts coming in. I've already given out one. I'm pretty certain Hound of God won one of them.
Is that when he?
It's a really nice post.
When he transcribed the podcast?
No. Besides, he wouldn't have known if he'd won.
So what constitutes an excellent post?
An excellent something that makes a very valid point. I mean, the Facebook ones we gave away were a mixture of we gave away ones that were obviously very supportive for Heroes of Ruin. There's some posts, although that's by no means a guarantee. I mean, I also gave one away from somebody who completely disagreed with something that we were saying, but made a very good point in doing so, and debated it properly. So it's not it's not there just for you to just
It's
be
not,
overly sycophant towards us in order to get some merchandise. We want you to make good points and debate items. If you're concerned about something and you've got a good reason, then that might get you something. If you're overly pleased with something and you think that something we're doing is really, really good, that again may get you something. So is it just a good quality forum post that's not, one line long with a smiley face?
good old-fashioned contribution.
Contribution.
Okay.
Simple as that. So you've got by the time this goes out, you'll have, let's say, about half a week to a week. So,
and it's not it's not limited to.
No, there's no limit on them.
Cool.
Really, I can give away as many or as little as I like, but it's all up to quality. You'll know if you've won a poster, by the way, because there'll be an edit or a post underneath your post, which will actually say "poster winner."
That's nice. That is nice.
From a moderating point of view, so you will know, and I'll do a little post on the front page as well, just to let people know who actually did win. But yeah, but Hound of God 1 was really nice. It's a shame I don't have it here. Actually, it was great. Okay. It's time to get into the big news, okay? So we've actually got 3 pieces of news. And the first thing we're going to do is talk about a new area. Now, I say it's a new area, it's actually an area you've seen already, but we've said absolutely nothing about it in terms of names and details and things like that. And that is the forest area. And that forest area is called the Elder Forest, and Luke is very kindly going to tell us a bit about what you may stumble into there.
The Elder Forest. Well, I have heard that it's called the Elder Forest not because it's an old forest, but because it's the forest where the elders were. So I don't want to give too much away, but that there is, interestingly enough, there is actually a backstory around the forest area, and everything that is in there. It's filled with some ruins, aptly named there. You can fight all sorts of creatures in there. I've already seen some wolf-type creatures. I don't want to ruin too much, but there are a whole bunch.
Is that where the flaming wolves are, by any chance? Because
yes,
people they're outside. That's where the flaming wolves. Although that's not their official name.
No.
But
if you've seen that screenshot where the wolf has some sort of fire effects, then that's the area.
Until such time as it's revealed otherwise, I think we're safe to still call them flaming wolves. Although it does sound like that we're sort of just berating them somehow. Flaming wolves.
Sounds like some sort of chaser, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Flaming wolf.
A flaming wolf.
Grey liqueur on fire.
Of a flaming wolf and a tiger shark, please.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of creatures. It's actually a really nice area, I think, because it's not just foliage and sort of tombs and ruins and sort of spread out consistently across every area. It's sort of it jumps up and you get some areas where there's nothing but foliage and other areas where there's not actually a lot and there's a few dry roots, and it's really interesting to go in and see with the dynamic environments. It's actually different every time, and of course in that one area there are a whole bunch of different sort of areas within that area as well. So I'm not sure they all have names. They have sort of I think they have quest names, but
I was just thinking, I know obviously we've got the dynamic dungeons, but probably the Elder Forest is the most obvious where that dynamic dungeon would occur, because a forest is always changing. So you should even in real life, if you went into a forest, it would be a different experience every time.
Yeah, I mean for me it's an interesting area as well, because when you think of fantasy games, and especially something along the lines of an action RPG, or something that you might compare this game to, then you kind of expect to see a forestry area or something along those lines. But at the same time, we obviously didn't want to do something that's too similar to any of those. But so I feel like we've got the right balance, or rather, N-Space have got the right balance of, just making it its own area, but at the same time having enough familiarity in there for people that, they really want to jump into that kind of forest area. And
there'll be a profile of that coming down the line, by the by, and you'll see we'll slowly start moving away from Coral Tombs and start talking about Elderforest. And then we get to talk about other things as well, maybe other characters.
As in character classes?
That would be what I'm inferring.
You mean there are more?
There are more than two?
There are.
You mean those two others on the poster and the artwork are actually doing things?
Yeah.
Yes, they are. They who will not be named, i.e. the architect and the savage. Okay. Right. News number 2. Wall of Champions. Wall of Champions has changed an awful lot over the months, but it was changed a lot over the months. But at the same time, the core of what it is has not. I know that sounds a bit contradictory, but bear with me, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, Wall of Champions. You are obviously getting. Those of you who are on the site and signed up, you get experience points for doing items. It could be going on a page. It could be commenting on somebody's profile. It could be voting on polls, various numbers thereof. But the one thing that you haven't been told is what is actually going towards those of you who have got the 100%. Which of course you can now get with the extra XP. Well, what was the Wall of Champions, which you were working towards, has now been replaced. Those of you who have 100%, as of, I think we're going to say it's beginning of November, or very much around that time, those of you who have 100% will graduate from that to something called the Honour Guard. You will get your own special section on the site, which is exactly what we said was going to happen with Wall of Champions originally. And you'll be up there, and your name will be emblazoned with glory and sprinkles and other things. And in time, there will be something that will appear on your profile, which will signify that you're a member of the Honour Guard. And that will be that. Except the Wall of Champions is continuing. You will then graduate to level 2, because there's going to be multiple levels, and the amount of XP rewards on the site will absolutely skyrocket. They're not in any way finalised at the moment, but there may be ones for doing, visiting new pages, visiting the Wall of Champions itself. There will be a new page on the website which will list who is the top people, who has the most XP, but it'll also tell you where you are and how people are doing around you. So there might be ones visiting that. There might be extended versions of current XP rewards. Ones to do with articles. Ones to do with how you visit the site, perhaps, or what you search for when you're there. There may well be ones related to when you sign in to heroesofruin.com. And there may even be XP rewards related to the challenges when the game releases. So this is quite a long-term upgrade that is planned. There is items and things that you will not get for some time. And there may be ones that you get straight away. You'll have to wait and see. But I would expect you to see very soon, actually, been a month and a half at the latest, there to be some new XP challenges coming along, which is roughly about the time when we stop the original World Champions and select the Honour Guard. Funny that.
So what you're saying is that at the point of hearing this podcast, there is still time for people to...
You still have time to get the 100% and get Honour Guard, but I would take it that as of November 1st, boom, that'll get... Well, it won't get locked off, but the number of people that will actually be in the Honour Guard, there'll be like a finalised list. And no one else will be able to get in the Honour Guard. Those who come later on, when we're near release, this is not for them. This reward, this is for you guys who've been with us since the beginning. So, look out for that. If you're listening to the Nintendo Life podcast, which I did very recently, I may have let slip a potential name for one of the upcoming XP rewards. So there's a reason to tune into that. It's quite an obvious one actually, but I don't tell you what it is exactly. But for those of you who like to hunt down the details, there's something there.
Do you know what? I'm really surprised and really pleased to see that some of the, if you look on the homepage and it says latest challenge and it says something like Buckaroo, I'm really amazed at how people are able to figure out what they are and what you need to unlock them, because I've been really rubbish at it.
Oh, we've got some doozies coming down the line. We really have. Those of you who like the funniness and the pop culture and all sorts of things, there's more ones for me. This is all assuming that these names actually go through the approval process, and some may change, some will not. But there's ones relating to songs, ones relating to films, ones relating to anime, ones relating to the internet. There's some in-joke ones that you guys may appreciate. Some will be obvious. Some will be what the heck were they thinking. But I had so much fun writing these guys. You've got no idea.
I have fun just reading them.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. The Jason, who haven't met on the team yet. Perhaps we'll do Jason somewhere down there.
I think he deserves a little spot.
Jason was the original driving force behind the Wall of Champions. He's our web guy and one of the coders on the website in our IT team. He loves these, so there's going to be you're going to have lots of fun, and there's going to be things coming up on latest challenge which you're going to go, what? Oh, what the heck is that? That makes no sense. And then there'll be things that's like, oh my god, they're actually referencing that. So yeah, all good. Speaking of all good though, all good things must come to an end, and I'm not just talking about the podcast, sadly. I've been here for 3 months. I've sort of cover for Mike to fill the gap. And sadly, this will be my last RuinCast. Insert "aw" sound effect here.
Yeah, I'm quite sad.
Yeah, Lukey is genuinely sad about this. But there will be a brand new community manager coming in who's full-time. He's someone that the sales guys specifically wanted in. So the next podcast you'll hear, which will be the Sasha Putnam podcast, they will be doing the interview. I'm not even sure if it's a him or a her, but surprise. There you go. You don't even know. I don't even know. But they will be doing the podcast next time. They'll introduce themselves to you in time. I think the changeover is roughly at end of this current month. So by the time first couple of days in November, you'll have heard from them and they'll introduce them to you. But it's been great fun working on Heroes of Ruin. I've put in as much ridiculousness as I can into the future things, so you can enjoy them. And there's a bunch of articles down the line. There's articles for. I'll tell you this now. If you like the bestiary, we had the Tiber not that long ago. There's something for the Leviathan. There's something for for Captain Skullrot. I think Captain Skullrot's the next one up. So you've got that. There's items. There's a load more concept art coming, including some very surprising concept art, which may cause some of you to blush. And there's a lot of in-depth stuff coming up. I'm just writing like a beast at the moment. But like I say, it's all the things must come to an end, and I wish the SELS team all the best in the future with Heroes. It's a really lovely game, and I'm sad to not continue working on it. But
you will be.
I'll be sticking around.
Yeah.
It'll be the game that I'm not joking. It is the game that I will get a 3DS for.
Have you maxed out your 100% XP yet?
I haven't. No. I haven't. No. So I won't even be in Honor Guard. There you go. Wow. So even I won't be in Honor Guard. I'm horrified. I'll have to do something about this, like bribe Jason. But there's lots of stuff coming down the line. Lots of stuff to look forward to, and that's it. I hope you enjoy this ridiculously long version of RuinCast, but there's been an awful lot of information to get through, and the team will see you next time. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye.
Bye for now. Put some crying noises in here.
Perhaps I will.
Kevin had been working on the Heroes of Ruin side for quite some time.
Oh, God.
He implemented a set of challenges and even some bestiary elements. Some brilliant articles went up. But after some months... We should put it in.
It's either that or na hey, goodbye.
I don't know that one.
No.
We've stopped recording though, haven't we?
No, we're still recording. I might put that in like after the end music.
Quite genuinely, it's sad to be seeing you go, but you have to stick around.
I'll be about.